So, you've returned from the west. Any luck?
The bristlebacks were being penned by Tenakth rebels on the other side of the mountains. Ulvin's explosives opened up a sinkhole, dropping them into the tunnels.
Which they followed to the mine and out into the Daunt.
Right. Aside from the rebels, if anyone is to blame for the bristlebacks, it's Ulvin.
Radiant beams of the sun. And all this time he was pointing the finger at us. Bring Ulvin here. Petra, too.
Summoned like a blasted ale winch. You best be meaning to put pen to parch. What? Why's she here?
I live here too, lugnut. So what's this about?
Thanks to the Savior, the sun has shown the truth on the bristleback incursion. Tenakth rebels were keeping pens of machines on the other side of the mountains. A sinkhole swallowed them, releasing them into the underground tunnels that led east and out into the Daunt.
So it was an accident. But let us not forget that it was the Karja...
I'm not done. The sinkhole only formed due to your unauthorized blasting in the southern mine, Ulvund. You are responsible for the machine rampage, the workers we lost, the destruction the bristlebacks caused. All of it.
My dear magistrate, has your precious son baked your senses? I would never give such an order without first consulting you.
Evidence says otherwise. Aloy found the shipping manifest in the mine. You skirted the laws of the Sundom, Ulvund. All for a few extra shards.
And that's not the only mine you've been squeezing. Corvin's crew would have drowned if it weren't for Aloy.
I demand an official investigation. I won't be the victim of some Karja scheme.
Certainly. We'll conduct a thorough inquest into everything. The bristlebacks, the mine. Every business deal you ever put your name to.
Well, that's not necessary, is it? What if I just return to the claim?
Oh, well, that would save the crown the cost.
Of course. I'll be on my way as soon as I wrap up some previous commitments, tie up some loose ends. After all, the welfare of Chainscrape's people in a transition like this...
Nope, you're leaving right now. Chainscrape will be just fine.
You think she can run this scorched-out, forged dump? Ha! Knock yourself out.
Get out!
Oh! Don't want you, don't need you! Down with all Virgin right! Get off me!
Mud looks good on you, Ulvin.
As the sun burns away shadow. Thank you for that, Aloy.
Well, he had it coming.
Here, please accept this token of gratitude. You've done the Sundom, and my sanity, a great service. And I believe we have some matters to discuss.
Guess we do. Not the most pleasant boots to fill, but I'll wear them. All thanks to you, Flamehair.
Okay. Chainscrape will be better off with Petra in charge.
That hits the spot. Aloy, back for more, huh? Another round here? Heard you've been busy. As for me, I'm gonna need a few more of these before I get back to the forge.
Is there something on your mind?
Well, things are better since Olvin got the boot. It may take a while to get this place running smooth.
If you don't put that down, I'll come over there and show you how that game ends.
Anyway, right now, I'm just worried about those refugees out from Sunfall. To come all this way enduring Forge knows what.
I saw. They won't let anyone up the old trailhead southwest of here.
And therein lies the problem. A Stormbird crashed up on the cliffs last week, and Talon Cleanbrokers had his eye on the salvage ever since. But the refugees have barred entrance. Mustn't interrupt their sun-scorched ritual. Something about finding a twilight path.
Huh. I never heard them talk about that before.
Yeah, well, these particular Shadow Karja are an odd bunch. But overall, they're peaceful folk. Not that it matters to Talon. He'll crack some heads to get to that salvage. Maybe you could swing by, convince him to set up camp somewhere else?
I thought you'd be back in Freeheap.
Well, I've but realized it was running smooth. Heard about the and thanks to your handiwork, I
guess you found the right place.
Guess I did.
What else can you tell me about the Shadow?
Well, they don't call themselves Shadow, at least not anymore. They're but whatever side of the sun they're on, they're peaceful through and through. Don't seem to want for nothing except a place to pray and just enough food to keep.
So they're just camped out, blocking entry to a wrecked Stormbird, waiting for.
Don't rightly know, but should they ever wise up and salvage it? A storm, and if they get there first, then by Ostrom law, it's not that Tolan Cleanbrokers ever lost sleep over it.
Who is this Talland?
Just some chuff-huffing pondsman. Got a shop here. Lived in Chainscrape since there was a Chainscrape. He and Ulvin go back a ways. Like a pair of coals and a campfire, though.
He didn't clear out when Ulvin left?
Two might be chummy, but Talon's got just enough deniability to keep. And he ain't the type to let a few refugees get between him.
The concession decree Ulvin wanted, what was it exactly?
Big old pig diddle, that's what.
A writ that would have put all Ostrom claims in the Daunt under Ostrom law. Even though they're on Karja land, it would have meant that any existing stone and timber claims couldn't be revoked. No more risk, no more hesitant claim to pour in the shards and expand their business. And since Ulvin had a stake in all those, it would have made him richer than a scrap. Not to mention Chainscrape would have become an Ostrom municipality. So he could have bought enough votes to... He's a sly old badger, I'll give him that.
Well, if I'm up that way, I'll talk to the ref.
Much appreciated. They have it rough. Don't...
Petra said Talland has a shop here in
It's a Tanakh game, but any tribe can enjoy it. Fred, welcome back. I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between... Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting and you compare its combat power, the higher your machine's combat power, so finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your... Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machine. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and your machine has... My machine is standing on grassland terrain with a value of 0 points. It's also not attacking, which means their attack point. So my combat power, this means your machine can do 3... Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just... It can also help defend your... Grab your other piece and place it in front of my second machine. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means your machine's combat power adds up to 2 points. My machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot you're about to attack has armor protecting it, which means my machine gets an extra point, giving it a... If we compare the combat power of both machines, you'll see that you won't be able to do any damage. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent's combat power, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's deep. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha! See? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. Sure, both are machines, but knocking my machine off that terrain makes it more vulnerable to attacks. Not only that, if my machine had been blocked from moving back, it would have received an extra point of damage. And if my machine had been blocked by another one of my pieces, that machine would have received damage. That's why breaking a machine's to deal damage to several... Useful, right? Okay, now go ahead and end your turn. There's still one more thing. Alright, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your... However, there are two other terrains that... This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move again. Or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helpless. Well, I think that's enough yammering from me for now. Promise it'll all come in handy next time you play. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose. Each one is worth a certain, and you can spend up to knowing what each machine brings to the building an army that matches your is the key to becoming. When assembling your army, there are a few. First and foremost, you can never have more than 4 of the same machine on the. With that in mind, most how far they can move or how much attack power. But a real strike player will be looking at a machine. Let's take a quick look, shall we? All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponent. In other words, if you look at your notes, you'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range, and no one else. We've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some more stuff. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look at the rest of the piece. Let's go with this piece first.
Let me take my headset off, that way you can listen.
This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot on the board. This is a great way to take the advantage away from your opponent if they have the higher ground. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece, a dash type machine. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, including your own. So make sure you take a good look at the board, but you should also make sure it's able to finish its attacks. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece. A nifty little piece you'll definitely want in your set. If you look at your notes, you'll notice this particular machine has one of the skills I mentioned before. There's quite a few of those, but I'm pretty sure you've got more important. It's got all the tips, and I think that about does it for now, so if you want to play... Let's play! That's it for me. Okay, let's see. Your move, Red. Time to make my move. Gotta say, you're
Are they-
pretty good, Red. Oh, I won!
Wow.
Sounds so surprised. This is gonna be fun. Your turn. Time to get serious. Board's all yours. Just one piece left.
That took some of my health to do that, though.
Yeah.
And I guess you have to move.
Now that was a game, even if I lost.
So I burnt my points, you know, to...
Yeah.
I'll see you later, Aloy.
Just because you keep blurring out doesn't mean you're off.
You know what we're having for supper?
Yeah, kind of like a pasta. Hamburger pasta. Hamburger macaroni.
I'm sorry, I'll be right with you. Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying it's overkill.
It's a weapon! Kill is the point.
Not even blows the user's arm off! Just stop talking. Where were we? Scott! So, you look like someone who's always searching for a new weapon. Am I right?
Actually,
But you're just not. I'm a customer.
I'm not a customer.
I got it. Triple the powder. It'll blow a strider sky high.
Ba-boom! One shot kill, guaranteed. Maybe I am.
Then you are in the right place at the right time, Red.
Game looks good, don't it?
Yeah.
Proud owner of the world's first machine-enhanced
Explosive.
Well, you need to pay attention to their faces. Like, most games don't do this stuff. Like, their lips and tongues and stuff work correctly. Like, a lot of games look at me like when they talk, you know, their mouths will be doing stuff like that. This one, it matches. Watch them.
1 machine wrecking, yet perfectly safe. Javelin thrower.
Yeah.
Are you two from around here?
Nah, the claim. Dad sent us out west in search of some unknown opportunity. Said we'll know when we see it.
Sounds like you've had other ideas.
Let's just say that opening another trading post for my parents isn't how I want to make my mark in this world. I imagine traveling alone must be nice.
So she's your partner?
Sister, I bet. Yep.
And my sister.
Yeah.
She's why we're out here. There was an incident. Another incident.
Involving explosives?
Ba-boom!
And Dad's precious homebrew. He shipped us out the next day.
I mean, how often do you see a game where you're talking to NPCs and it looks this good? Most times, you know, they save it for big story characters, but like these are just NPCs.
Huh. Tell me more about this weapon of yours.
Saw a scroll when I was a kid by some Karja scholar who wandered out west. Had a scary drawing of a Tanakh warrior hunting with a kind of javelin thrower. Effective? Yes. Basic? Undoubtedly. But coming out here made me remember it, and I'm on the brink of vastly improving the tool's archaic design.
Whereas I will perfect it.
I can use machine parts to enhance the user's throw, increase the projectile's velocity. Well, Boomer here is adamant that enhancing the projectile is better, namely with explosive tips.
Boomsticks.
Why not both?
That could work. There's one small snag. I need the parts to make the first working model.
Well, for starters, I'll need charger horns.
Intact.
Yeah, that. Just be sure to shoot them off before the machine goes down. Otherwise, they break. But the real innovation, keep it to yourself, is a fang horn rib.
There's a mean one east of here. Blow it sky high.
Boomer! You get them for me. It's yours.
You have a deal.
I have some of those parts. Oh.
How's the hunting and gathering going? What can I do for you?
I'll be on my way.
Don't be a stranger.
I will be a stranger. I am a stranger.
I'd like to see if I could go ahead and buy some other things. I'm wanting a more powerful bow and arrow.
You ready, Mom?
About time he went.
Here, you're the rowdy spark we should be thanking for kicking Olin out of the forge.
Petra mentioned you were trouble, and trouble's always welcome at my shop. Take a look. Won't find weapons like these anywhere in the dump. Guaranteed. See you when I see you, Red.
Maybe this guy will fix my lucky hammer by then.
Maybe it'll stop breaking, too. With the old one gone now.
Sharp shot bow.
Can't do that one.
Mama, help me make chocolate milk. Oh, that's a good time. Help me make chocolate milk. Let me get the car.
Does everybody have time to fix my lucky hammer?
It's you. The machine hunter that bailed out the Carja.
Never heard it put that way before.
What do you want?
Heard you've been hassling refugees up at the cliffs.
Yeah, well, you heard wrong. There's salvage up there. A stormbird. Nailed it myself with a harpoon here in town. Not an easy shot if I do say so myself. That clipped its wing, and it crashed into the old tower up there. Killed it quick. Yeah, so if anyone's hassling anyone, it's the Shadow Carja filth that's blocking the way up to my claim.
And you're ready to crack some skulls to get to it?
No need. It's a raggedy bunch. Probably all starved before I have to lift a finger.
We'll see about that.
Oh yeah, we will, won't we? Now shop's closed to Carja lovers. On your blasted way.
How much time we got, babe?
There's a charger. Gonna have to shoot off the horns for Dell and Boomer.
Need the charger. My foot hurts. My ankle. So what's that beast you gotta kill? A Scooby-Dooby macaroni?
Oh, there's one of those,
medicinal things.
well, I don't know if I've ever been in this cave.
Gonna die then?
I might. Oh. May have to.
Yeah, those spikes aren't scary whatsoever. They can just fall on you in the water and stab you.
Oh, it says I don't have the equipment yet. I can't remember where's the.
Quit dying.
I'm trying to get out, but I can't remember.
My papa probably gonna die.
I can't find like the exit when where I came in from. You know what I mean? I'm gonna frickin' die. I can't find the exit. So it's my right here. There it is. So I couldn't remember. Like, I had to look at my map.
Those people are under attack.
Hey! You up there! Aren't you gonna help?
Not my job. I'm just here to keep an eye on things.
More machines on their way.
Get to safety! I'll handle the rest!
I'll help you, Nora. All right, Nora. Let's see what you can do.
That's the last of them. Better check on the refugees.
I like how the parts that fly off, they spark a lot so you don't miss them.
Yeah.
I don't remember that really happening in the first game, and it may have, but I really like that to do that.
Yep.
So like there's see that part down there?
Yep.
Find this in my stash later.
Is it bad, Lukasha?
Shh, now. Everything will be fine.
Is everyone okay?
Bruised, but not buried. Our order will live to see another day.
Are you sure about that?
We're no strangers to heart. We've crossed half the Sundom with no more than the cloak. And as soon as our sun priest returns...
We've been waiting somewhere. Your people need shelter.
Chainscrape. Yes. We know of it.
Who?
Our sun priest.
Okay, and where is
he? He went up to the tower to meditate, and he won't come down until the sun shows him the way. The fallen storm bird is an omen, he said.
I see. And how long do you plan on waiting for?
Until he returns. He will return.
You're Shadow Karja.
We are the Order of Twilight.
The difference being...
When the usurper Avad killed his father, we fled with the Karja in shadow to Sunfall. Our lives there were difficult. Savohar saw our mess, lifted us up, protected us from the corrupt priests and heartless kestrels. When their rule ended, Savohar led. The long night ends. And so he named us the Order of Twilight.
Why didn't you go back to Mordor?
Avad is a patricide. We will not need. We must walk in twilight.
There's an Oseram in Chainscrape. Tolland.
Yes. He was here just yesterday. He made all manner of threats.
That's all well and good, but sooner or later his whole gang Savohar will come through. You're out of time, Nakasha. You need to...
We won't leave him.
Well, your priest, Savohar,
his meditation.
So he does this often?
Well, it doesn't, but he will guide us.
Sure. But shelter looks like a more pressing concern. Look at yourselves. And Oseram thugs are watching you. Just wait. You're in danger here. You need to grab Savohar.
Our situation. I know we cannot stay here, but without Savohar,
Let me up there.
But his meditation, if he...
At least let me check on him.
Yes. The trail up to the tower's falling. Savohar is strong, but it could not...
It rarely is.
Let the Nora pass.
Inside of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, there's a costume for her.
Yeah.